Hi everyone, this is Jillian from Jewish Workshops and Aish Webinars. I am so happy to be joining all of you today, and we are so fortunate to have Dr. Miriam Adahan on the line. Before we get started, I'd love to see who's joining us and where you're from, so please go to your question box. It should be on the right-hand side of your screen, and just type your first name and where you're joining us from. Oh, wonderful. It looks like so many people are starting. Okay, great. Welcome to Ira from, Virginia. Welcome Jody from Florida. Welcome Z from Austin. Saralea from New York. Rivka from Jerusalem. Barry from Connecticut. Galit from New York. Shalamit from St. Paul, Minnesota. That's great. I'm from the Midwest. Asnat from Muncie, welcome. Yessie from South Fallsburg and Anya from Chicago. Welcome Becky from New Jersey. Bashi from Brooklyn. Yael from Seattle. Malka from Cedarhurst. Bernice from Maryland. Judy from North Carolina. Alfredo from El Salvador. Wonderful. Matana from Portland, Oregon. Kathleen from Vancouver, welcome. Shelly from New York. Shira from Chicago. This is unbelievable. Veronica from Montreal. Brenda from South Africa. Dina from Texas. I could go on all night. I don't want to keep everyone waiting. We have so much to cover today, and we literally have hundreds on the line from all over the world. So welcome to everyone. I'm sorry if I didn't say your name, but we are so happy to have you here. As people continue to flood in, we had over 2,000 people sign up for today's webinar, and we received 1,100 responses with your biggest parenting challenges and questions, which we will absolutely try to address as many as possible at the end of the class, so sit tight. I do want to remind you there's a limited amount of space on the webinar. As soon as we get to 1,000 people, we will hit capacity. So please make sure not to leave in the middle. I don't want you to get locked out. Like I said, there is so much to cover today. At the end, there will also be an exciting announcement, and we will take additional live questions as time permits. As we all know, our kids today are facing such danger and temptation with peer pressure, with the internet, with the drugs and bullying. This is really why it is a supreme honor to be hosting Dr. Adahan, or Miriam as she prefers. For those of you who don't know, Miriam Adahan has been a psychologist for over 40 years and has more than 15 books published in numerous languages, including parenting books. So with her many years of experience in counseling, lecturing, writing, and training counselors, her wellspring of knowledge cannot be duplicated. Thousands all over the world have Miriam to thank for the success of their relationships and the emotional well-being of their families. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it over to you, Miriam. How are you?
Thank you so much. There's nothing I love more than helping people be effective parents, because training our children means training ourselves, because we all have an inner child that is wild and silly and irresponsible, whatever. So whatever we're learning about our external children, we're learning for our internal children, and we have to a lot of repair work, and it's a lot of work, and it should be most of the time joyful if we approach it correctly. So I'm really happy to be here. This is what I love doing most.
Miriam, I'm sorry to interrupt. Can you speak a little bit closer to the microphone? We're not hearing you very well.
Uh-oh. Okay. How's this? Is it any better?
Yeah, it's a little bit better. Maybe just if you can get a little closer to the microphone.
It's almost in my mouth.
Okay. Okay, there. If we could just speak loud and clearly, that's great.
Okay, I'm going to try to do that. Because talking to children is a lot like, a lot of the times, like talking to a headset that isn't working. And there's a lot of static on the line, and kids don't hear us, we don't hear them. It's not easy. You can hear me now?
Actually, we can hear you perfectly now. Are you by the computer?
Now you can?
Yes, this is perfect.
Oh,
I plugged the wrong thing and that was my Skype. So
Okay, here we go.
now you can hear me?
Yes, yay! Everyone's saying yay, yay,
Oh,
much
that
better.
was my Skype that was interfering. Thank you.
Okay,
Okay,
good. Thank you.
great.
Okay, let's go.
Okay. Okie dokie. Good. We want to be able to hear well. Okay, kids are going through so much today. Statistically, one third are going to be diagnosed with something or other, and we want to do everything possible to prevent any kind of emotional. Of course, we want to protect them physically, but we also want to, that's what I can talk about, is protecting them emotionally and giving them lots and lots of skills to maintain their sense of self-esteem in a world that often wants to crush it. And in many ways. So we're going to talk about self-esteem and techniques, and I'm going to give you hundreds of techniques here. So we got to start right now. This is the most difficult task in the world, is to be a good parent. And nobody's taught the technique, so this is what I'm here to do. So, okay, what is the reality in the world today? 100 years ago, uh, at least 90% of children were in eye contact with at least one parent throughout the day. Now kids don't have that contact. Um, they're touch deprived, they're not getting enough contact. 80% of mothers work full time, and children are not uh, bonding well. There's so much confusing information for parents. Kids lose faith in themselves. We lose faith in ourselves as parents. There are a lot of addictions and temptations. There's so much bullying going on. So what we want to do is create an atmosphere in which kids can maintain their self-respect and can withstand temptation. So that's what we want to learn. Okay? Um, and prepare kids. What's the biggest challenge kids face today? Now, to understand why this work is so difficult, take a good look at this slide. Okay? Now, down there, put your hand at the back of the nape of your neck. Okay? Everybody can see that area there? That area is called the primitive brain, the reptilian brain. It begins to develop immediately after conception. This is basically the first thing that starts working along with the heart. You get a heartbeat, and then this starts developing. The primitive brain is, think of what a snake would want. A snake wants comfort. It wants immediate satisfaction. Okay? It is concerned with our physical needs for touch, affection, food, survival. Okay? Now, right next to that is a little pink area that's called the amygdala. Thank God, I've been talking about this for 20 years, the amygdala, but now it's becoming very popular because this is basically the emotional regulation center. It's the fear center. It's what makes us fearful of rejection and abandonment and makes us anxiety-ridden at times. Okay? Up above that, if you put your hand on your ears, between the ears is the limbic system, which has to do with our emotional needs. So if the back of the head is concerned with our physical immediate satisfaction needs for food and touch and survival and control, and the amygdala has to do with fears. The emotional center has to do with, am I getting enough attention? Do I belong? Do I have self-worth? Am I valued and important? Now up here, that red area is the cortex. That is our executive functioning. This helps us to think about, to plan for the future, to control our impulses, to plan, um, to um, to think about what the consequences of our actions are going to be. Now, if the back of the brain, the primitive center, that is beginning to develop at conception, and by 6 months in utero, it's fully formed. In contrast to that, this executive center has the height of cellular development only by the age of 20. Now, this is a long-term process. The goal of a parent and everything a parent does should be aimed at helping the child to develop his cortical functioning. Okay? After the age of 20, at any time in life, we can create new synapses in this area of the brain, but the most cells is at the age of 20. So the bottom, that lower half of the brain gets a huge head start. And we are at war for most of our lives between what I call the baby brain, because I don't want to give it a negative connotation, the baby brain and the grown-up brain. Kids love to hear this. By the age of 3, kids can already be distinguishing. You know, I'll say, oh, that person is smoking. Is he in his baby brain or his grown-up brain? Or that person is screaming. Is he in his grown-up brain or his baby brain? And the kids will say that they know right away. You just keep talking. That's the first exercise I want you all to do for the next week, is to say, where am I? Ayeka in Hebrew. Ayeka, where are you? Where am I? Now, in Hebrew, the word for child is ben. And it comes from the word binyan, to build. Children build us because we cannot be in our baby brains and be effective parents. We might initially, want to scream and potch and slap and smack and withdraw, run away, whatever it is. That's what our baby brains want to do. We have to be in our grown-up brains in order to parent effectively. Now, the average parent who just starts out parenting doesn't know how to do this unless he's been trained. So we want training. Every time you resist a harmful impulse, whether it's to smoke or smack or overeat or indulge in it, any time you overcome a harmful impulse, this part of the brain, your cortex, gets stronger and the baby brain gets a little weaker. That's what we want. Now, what we want to do as parents is not to shame and get angry too much. We don't want to shame kids too much because that shuts down. Too much shame will shut down. Shame and fear shut down the cortex and keep the child in the baby brain. What we want to do is gently nourish the child from the age, in Torah terms, education begins around the age of 3. Until that, their major job is to make a child feel protected and safe and honored and valued and important. That's your major job. So you don't want too much shame or anger. You want protection. I'm here for you. I'm taking care of you. I'm not going to abandon you. And that will free him up to be able to go to his adult brain. Okay, any questions about this? This is very important. So if you do nothing else, if you learn nothing else, this is the most important thing to say, where am I? Where is my child? I have to, even if my child is in his lower brain, I have to be in my grown-up brain. You can call it AB for adult brain. There's AB and BB. BB is the baby brain. I don't call it Yetzer Hara or give it a negative connotation. I just say BB, baby brain, okay? And it's hard enough for adults to be in their grown-up brain and their adult brain. Our job is to make AB the boss. We can hear BB, but we don't want to give in to it. Now, if you're tired, overwhelmed, hungry, stressed, lonely, if you're in any of these conditions, of course it's harder to get up there. But that's what we have to do. Now, too much shame and fear, again, will block the flow of blood up there. So everything we're going to be doing in these workshops is to make sure that the blood is flowing up, that the child can get up. Okay? Any questions about this?
Uh,
Yeah, actually, a great
okay.
question just came in. If we were not given the skills that you're describing, how do we even begin?
That's right. I would never have the skills. So that's why I have developed this program. Um, I want to give you all the skills to stay up instead of down. Okay. So somebody said, "Is there's no discipline until the age of 3?" That's right. No timeouts, no punishments, no screaming, no potching. I'll give you lots of train. We do have to train. Okay. But kids know what our buttons are, and if you scream at them, if you potch them for something, they're going to tend to do whatever that is more. Okay? So we're going to get the skills. I promise you it's not going to be that difficult. I'm going to give you the skills. You just have to practice them for hours a day. Okay? Um, do you give in to your child and lay in bed and make her feel that they're important? Yes, until the age of, especially until the age of 1, tons of touching and holding. Okay? So that's what you want to do because otherwise kids feel that they're not important. And a lot of children grow up thinking, how can anybody ever love me? And it's never, ever too late to start this process. Okay?
Great. It actually looks like a lot of the questions coming in are going to be answered when you keep going through. So I'm
That's
going to
right.
save some of these for the end. If we can move on, I think you're about to answer a number of these questions right now.
Okay. So even until before the age of, even at the age of 2, 3, you want to be using the skills, saying, even if you're in BB, I'm in AB, and be talking or just keep using this expression. Kids love it. Okay. I once asked my grandson, I said, we saw somebody smoking. I said, is he, I pointed to my AB. I pointed to my forehead and said, is he an AB or is he in the back of the neck in BB? And he said, oh, Safta. Safta means grandma. He pointed to his foot. He's way down there. Okay. So training every one of you, no matter how many kids you have, if you have 4 kids, then you have the 5th one is yourself. And if that one was treated with cruelty or abandoned or had no stability or never felt loved as a child, of course it's going to be much harder to get control of yourself, but you're going to do it. You're going to just use my tools and you will repair the damage slowly but surely and rebuild trust. So the most important thing that you can do is build trust. You have to learn to trust that your AB, your adult brain, I call it the Moshe Rabbeinu, who has to take care of, you know, 3 million people who are complaining and grouching and whatever. So Moshe Rabbeinu was also frustrated, but think of the Moshe Rabbeinu as being your adult brain and think of Bnei Israel always kvetching and never good enough. Okay, unless you were, doing miracles and then they were happy for a few minutes. Okay, but we're gonna figure out how to do that. So trust and think of the word solutionize. That's what the job of the upper brain is. It's to solutionize. Okay, so what I did with my kids is I said, I would announce, I don't get angry because I am the queen of solutions. Now, it takes me about 30 seconds to say that. So when I'm upset, by the time I don't get angry because I am the queen of solutions. By the time I get that out of my mouth, I'm accessing my adult brain, and that always freaks my kids and my grandkids. You can ask my 3, 4-year-old grandkids, why doesn't Safta get angry? And they'll say, because she is the queen of solutions. So I want you to announce to your children this week, because this is going to obligate you not to get angry. Remember, anger will only empower your lower brain. Okay? So what you want to do is make sure, this is what you are all going to announce. Ima is the queen of solutions, Abba is the king of solutions. So wherever you're holding, wherever you are right now, I want you to know that you can improve and you can grow and you can make it's like a muscle. That upper brain is just like a muscle. At any age, you can make that muscle stronger. Ayeka, where am I? Am I upstairs or downstairs? You just have to know where you are. If you're tired, overwhelmed, exhausted, hungry, overstressed, it's going to be much harder to get up. So maybe you need to eat something, sleep a little bit, relax, whatever. We all have what's called a rest activity cycle during the day. There are times we want to be active, and there are times when we need to rest. So respect that part of you. That's part of the hardest part of being with kids, is that when they want action, we might want rest, but we'll try to work that out and see see what to do about this. Okay. Now remember, there's going to be painful events. Think of this, and I teach you a 4-step method. We all have painful events. Everybody. All day long we have irritations because people are irritating, and there's a towel on the floor, and there's a mess, there's juice spilled, and the kids aren't getting ready, and they can't find their shoes, and they're rude, and they're whatever. A painful event is going to be called step number 1. Okay, now I have these things that I made up, and I would put them on the floor, and I said, step number 1, we're having a painful event. Next, there is some kind of outburst from the baby brain. The baby brain tells us, buy it. Okay, charge it to your credit card. Smack that kid. Have an outburst. Whine, steal, kill, kick, spit. Blah. Okay, that's everybody's baby brain. That's all our impulses, our most violent impulse. It might tell us cut yourself or be in despair, or okay, that is step number 2. This is our initial response from our baby brain. We're not going to get all we want. We won't get all the love and attention and power and consideration and money and help that we want. Now, then the baby brain kicks in, and it's going to get very angry. That's step number 2. Okay? Now, I took index cards and I just put them on the floor, and I said to the kids, we're in step number 1 or step number 2. I understand that your baby brain wants to do X, Y, Z. A woman called me. She had just come home from the hospital with a new baby, and the first thing her 3-year-old did was spit on the baby. So she called me hysterical, Miriam, what am I going to do? I just came home from the hospital. I have a new baby, and then my 3-year-old, he spits on the baby. I said, just tell him, step number 1, you saw the new baby. Step number 2, your baby brain told you to spit on the new baby. Just look him in the eyes and hold his hands and say, I understand. You saw the baby. You know there's going to be a big change in your life now. Okay? I understand your feelings and your behavior. This is normal for baby brains. You just look in your child, hold his hands, look in his eyes, understand his feelings, define his feelings. You're sad, you're upset, you're frustrated, you're disappointed, whatever. You describe his feelings and describe his baby brain behaviors. Okay? And you can point to the back of his head, you can touch the back of his head and say, okay, I understand. Now you're in step number 2. And then you're going to crawl your fingers up and say, are you ready? You want to take a trip? All kids love to take trips. So you crawl your hands from the back of his head, crawl them up to his forehead, tap on his forehead, and say, this is where your grown-up brain is. You want to be in your grown-up brain? Okay, your big boy, your big girl brain, I don't care what you call it, your Moshe Rabbeinu brain, your, okay, AB? Okay, what's a good solution? And you crawl. This is a long trip. It takes at least 90 seconds for us to get up there. Okay, so give them a little time. For kids, it's going to take longer. Okay, and you say, what could be, say, I understand your baby brain. You tap on the back of his head. I understand what your baby brain is telling you to do. And then tap on his grown-up brain and say, now think of a grown-up solution instead of spitting on the baby. Okay? And this little 3-year-old said, I can pat him nicely. The mommy said, good, honey. I can bring him a pacifier. Great. Okay? And then the 4th step was to say, you know what? If you listen to your grown-up brain, Hashem is going to be so proud of you. Okay? Or I'm so proud of you. This is hard work. Now that mother, she said her initial response was to smack her kid so he wouldn't spit. But if she smacks him, she's teaching him to smack. Instead, she did this, what I call the brain dance, got him up to his grown-up brain, gave him a hug. She didn't shame him or blame him. She taught him to go through the steps. Now we're going through these 4 steps all day long. And this is the next thing you want to teach your kid, that we have to go from baby brain to adult brain, and this is a process, and I am here to help you. Don't shame kids for having that initial response. We all have it. But next time you're in the store, say, my baby brain tells me to buy that, but let me think a minute with my adult brain if I really want to buy it, if that's the right thing to buy. We all have shopping victories. So you want to be talking about your victories, your grown-up brain victories. Do I want to buy it or do I don't? We all of us have food victories. We can't eat everything we want. Okay? So you're going to say, whoa, I really would like another piece of cake, but, okay, if I eat the cake, okay, then I am in my baby brain. So I'm going to go up to AB. I want to make AB strong so I'm not eating the cake, and get very dramatic. Say, whoa, even if you didn't want to eat the cake. Make it a big whoa for mommy or daddy or for Sab or Savta. Whoa, I didn't eat the cake, even if you didn't want to eat it. Make a big thing, get very dramatic when the adult brain wins. And this is the basis for everything I teach. That woo, I didn't buy, I didn't scream, I didn't smack, I didn't eat that, okay? And you want to get very excited, because enthusiasm is the most important thing for your spiritual growth, okay? Anybody want to start implementing this now? Right, go to your box and say yes. This is as simple as it is. Everything I do is based on what I just taught you, okay?
We're getting yes, 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 Miriam.
Okay.
Everyone is saying yes. Thank you. I'm so excited to start. It looks good. Thank you.
Okay. So now when you are, when a kid is in his baby brain, okay, and he's screaming, and I hate you, and I don't want to do it, and I'm not going to help you. You're going to say, you can be in your baby brain, but you're giving me an opportunity to be in my grown-up brain. It's going to freak them out. They're going to just stop doing whatever they're doing, okay? I said, you're going to say, thank you for giving me the opportunity to strengthen AB. And I promise you they're going to stop cold. Hey, mommy is nuts or whatever, okay? But that's okay. Whatever they're doing, they're giving you an opportunity to be in your grown-up brain, okay? So I see that there's a lot of people, okay, that really want to do this work. So that's all it's going to take in the beginning. Is for the next week, you're going to say, wait a second, I'm getting up in the morning. Oh, no, I don't want to get up in the morning. Oh, I don't want to get up. I am in my baby brain. I don't even want to get up. Okay, how do I get up to my grown-up brain? You get up for your grown-up brain by thinking, what can I be proud of right this second? Okay, I'm getting out of bed. I'm taking 1 foot forward. I'm washing my hands. I'm saying a bracha, whatever. I'm saying Mode'ani. Whoa, good for me. And the minute you start saying, whoa, good for me, you're going to go upstairs. Okay? So this is the basis of everything I teach. It's going to be all positive, positive, positive. And I would suggest you write it down on a piece of paper. Any of your victories, kids' victories, put a piece of paper on the refrigerator and start talking. Start writing anything they did that says, "Wow, I had a victory over my baby brain. I didn't let my baby brain win. I went to the store and I didn't steal. I went to the store and did that. I called somebody difficult." Whatever it is, I don't care what it is. You brushed your teeth. You took a shower. You didn't scream. Great, write it down. I had one mother, Malka, write to me that her son, her 4-year-old, called to her last night and said, "Mommy, my baby brain is telling me to get out of bed and bother you, but my grown-up brain is telling me to stay in bed." That's a 4-year-old. Now that's worth everything. You're going to have to invest a little bit here. But to hear something like that, that's amazing. To hear kids talk like this. I remember when my 5-year-old said, I said, every night I had a ritual. I'd sit with my notebook and with my kids and say, "Okay, tell me a victory." Um, and they'd say, "Boy, Noam hit me today and I didn't hit him back." And I'd write it down. "You didn't hit him back? Wow." Make a big thing out of it. Talk about their victories. One that would say, "Last night I was just about to fall asleep when I remembered I didn't brush my teeth and I got up and brushed." Or, "When you asked me if I brushed my teeth, I said yes, but the truth is I didn't. So I brushed my teeth. And I told you that I told a lie, and now I'm telling you the truth." It doesn't matter what it is. So you want to catch your kids doing something, doing victories. Catch them when they're doing what you want them to do. You don't want to call them selfish brats. You don't want to tell them that they're stubborn and mean and whatever. Whatever you see in a child, you say, "Oh, that's what I have to help him work on." And from the age of 2.5, maybe 2.5, 3, depending on the maturity level of your child, and some kids, especially kids that were born with distress, oxygen deprived, ADHD, they're silly, and their brains mature later. So you're going to have to work at this a lot more. Okay. Somebody says, "How can I solutionize it in my work with friends, but not my kids?" I don't really understand that. Okay. Just start talking about your victories with anybody. GL says, "It really triggers me when my kids argue. I can't think straight." Okay, so one of the things you can assume, now I'm going to give you a really hard thing. We're going to go into it more, but I'm going to give you something really difficult. Assume that whatever your kids do that makes you really upset and angry, that they are expressing a part of you that you have not yet accepted and embraced and been compassionate about. So, gee, when your kids argue, you say that freaks you out. The argumentative, fetchy part of you is the part that you need to embrace and hold and be compassionate about. Think about, where do I argue? Where am I not accepting Hashem's will? Where am I argumentative? Where am I even arguing with the fact that they're arguing? Kids argue, that's what they do. Once you accept the part of yourself that the kid is expressing, and you accept it with compassion and empathy and love, you'll be able to treat your kids with the same compassion. So let's say your kid is messy. Where's the messy part of you? And you might be very neat, but there might be your priorities might be a little messy. You might see that a kid isn't davening, isn't religious enough. Think, where am I not religious enough? Now you might be the most meticulous, punctilious person with the most stringencies of anybody, but maybe you're not stringent about the mitzvah of love. Okay? Okay? So think about where you you need to grow. Your child is just externalizing where you yourself need to grow. So if they're argumentative or anxiety ridden or nasty or aggressive or whatever they're doing, say they're expressing a part of myself that I have not yet made peace with. Okay? And then we'll work from there. Okay, so I hope you'll do that. G. What's the difference between empathizing and solutionizing? Always first empathize. Your child is in pain. Kids have enormous pain, enormous, hundreds of frustrations and irritations, just like us. Just empathize with the fact that life is often painful for them. And only then, empathy is for the lower brain. Empathy actually frees the lower brain up so that you can go up to AB, to the adult brain. If you're angry, it's going to freeze, F-R-E-E-Z-E. You want to free the lower brain up with tremendous compassion and empathy, because then you're going to be able, your child can hear you. Okay? So that's what you want to do, a lot of empathy. Okay?
Sorry, Miriam, I think we're just, we were missing some of the slides. So we went over the victories, and then you just went over the empathy.
Good. So write down right now, it's Wednesday, Friday. By Friday night, have 30 or 40 victories that you, your husband, your child did. Okay? And emphasize the ones, if you have an anxiety-ridden child, emphasize the positive things, the courageous things he did. Okay? Maybe he tried a new food, or maybe he went to a friend's house, or maybe made a phone call. If you have an aggressive child, emphasize the fact that the child made peace or was helpful. Okay? So you want to make sure that you are validating and accepting them. Okay? Empathy just simply means I understand, it sounds like you feel. That's step number 2. Okay? Whoa, when you took your toy, or your ice cream fell, or you didn't get the new shoes, or you didn't get a new bike, or somebody has something you don't have and you're really sad. It sounds like. So that's all part of step number 2. Okay? Step number 3 is that's when you solutionize. You might even want to get a ruler, okay, and ask your child, how sad and frustrated are you? Okay, how painful was that? Okay, so we're going to be learning about all these tools in the webinar, how to use them, when to use them. You're going to get lots of skills. Remember that everything I do is to help you go up to be in AB, to let AB get stronger and stronger and stronger. Your kids are your personal trainers. They're forcing you to make AB stronger. So thank them. Thank them for fighting, for arguing. Okay? Thank them for everything. Say, well, thank you for this opportunity to help me make my adult brain stronger. Now, most important, you want to show children they can be successful in overcoming their negative urges. You can choose 3 responsibilities to give a child each day. You can give stars. You can talk about the fact that they didn't hit. Anything that's difficult for that child. A lot of parents are against there's all this research now, don't use stars, don't use charge, just talk. I am very into victories. Talk about what's hard for that child. Not all children are hitters, but for the hitter, you might want to say, I want to know that you wanted to hit and you didn't. Tell me. Say, Mom, I really wanted to smack him and I didn't. Okay? And give him a point. Have a little, that will be his. For the kid that hates taking bath or hates taking a bath or hates doing homework, you want to emphasize, kids, you are capable of overcoming your negative urges. Now, in order to make this most effective, guess what? You're going to have to do it yourself. You're going to have to tell them. You know what I wanted to do? You did that. I really wanted to smack you, but I didn't. Instead, I said, I want to make AB stronger. Okay? So give yourself a star, write about it, get that piece of paper up on your refrigerator with a magnet today. I don't care what your problems are, because I have rabbis working with this method in prison, teaching prisoners you can control your harmful impulses. I have one that wrote to me that he was this big 6'8" guy with tattoos, and he taught this guy to say, when the warden was nasty or one of his, says, "Thank you for giving me the opportunity to work on my middos." Okay? Anytime, anywhere, you can start this process. You have to work it on yourself first. You can make up stories, you can use puppets, you can have kids acting out stories on Shabbos. We do this a lot, have grandkids with me a lot. We do lots of storytelling. We act out stories. One of the things I did with my kids when I'd go out shopping is I'd take wristbands, like ponytail holders. I'd put a pink ponytail holder on my right wrist. And that was chesed. That's giving and saying yes. And I have a blue ponytail holder on my left wrist to symbolize gevura, or setting limits. Now, according to Jewish philosophy, we have to have equal. We have to say about equal, a little more, it says if you're not sure, you should err on the side of chesed, on giving in. But so let's say 51 chesed and 49 gevura. So you can say, yes, I'll drive you there, but I can't pick you up. You'll have to ask the mommy to bring you back. Or, yes, I'll buy you that item. Okay. Now, I'm not into Coca-Cola and junk food, so I'll say, let's say, I'll buy you a pizza, and I'll tap on the pink one, and then I'll say, but no Coca-Cola, and I'll tap on the blue. Okay? So you can have a snack. Yes, I'll make you that snack. I'll buy you ice cream. Tap on the right, but I don't want the sprinkles on top. It's too much food coloring in there. And tap on the left. Okay? So this is just one of the ideas. I'm going to be giving you hundreds of ideas that you can put into practice immediately. Now, if you're a man, you don't want to go out with your ponytail holders on your wrists, but you can find something else. Okay, so, but you can find a way to get this across to kids, the idea that we want. Now is the time for chesed. I'll read you a story and tap on the right wrist, and now's the time for gevura, which is limit setting, and now's the time to go to sleep. Now, please, every night, make it a ritual. Talk about, have a little gratitude, happiness journal, okay, victory. Now, make it one side, I have the left side as my victories, because that's gevura, and the right side is my gratitudes. When children go to sleep at night, please do this with them. It's the most loving thing you can do for your children. You can say, you know what? I had these 2 victories today. I made a difficult phone call. I got someplace on time. I talked to a difficult person. Somebody insulted me and I was silent, or whatever. I had my victories and I wrote them down. Tell me your victories. Tell me a couple of victories that you did today. Was it hard for you to brush your teeth or get up this morning? Or resist having an extra snack? Or listening to mommy or daddy? Wow. And they're always having to give up and obey and listen. You want to emphasize when they do the right thing. And the other side, you want to emphasize gratitude. Say, tell me 5 things you were happy for today. Now, it's like 100 degrees here, so first thing I wrote down this morning was thank God for air conditioning. Okay? And thank God for the good people in my life. Thank God for these webinars. Thank God, whatever you can be. Thank God for money coming in. Thank God I could buy whatever. Now, kids don't, this is not natural to be grateful. You have to get 3 or 4 things a day. Sometimes kids are like, I'm not grateful for anything, and I didn't get this and I didn't get that. So you want to say, wait, you have eyes and ears? You have feet? You can walk? Did we see a blind person today? Did we see somebody in a wheelchair? How grateful are you that you can walk? How grateful are you that you can see? Okay? So please make this your night ritual. You have to invest in this. It's 5 minutes. And then during the day, you just be talking, throwing out, oh, I had such a victory. I didn't want to talk to that person, and I did. I didn't want to make that phone call. And get very enthusiastic, get very dramatic. Because kids are dramatic, and they love drama. Okay? So get dramatic about this. And wherever kids are at, that's where you start. Okay? So anybody want to start here? Don't make it too difficult because you won't do it. Just say, are you willing to talk about A, B, and BB this week? That's enough. Okay. Somebody asked me here.
Like, yeah.
We got a lot of yeses, but I just want to answer SM, who says that her spouse doesn't want to do any of this. Okay, honey, you're flying solo. Okay? A lot of us are flying solo on this. Just do it when he's not around, because this is the most spiritual work possible, and it's bringing light and love into your life. You're flying solo. Okay, you can still do it. You can help your kids. And your kids will learn from this how to have self-esteem, okay? And you can start at the age of, you can start talking about their victories at the age of 1, 2, 3. 3 is really the age of education where they can really hop this, but you can start even at the age of 1, okay? Somebody says, would you consider step 4 being, you should be, you can say, you know, you should be so proud, Hashem is so proud, I'm so proud. What are you proud of? What are you proud of doing? Okay. Somebody says, I'm losing my mind, and this makes sense. Good.
Wow,
Yes.
Miriam, it looks like there are so many yeses pouring in.
Okay.
Yes, I want to start. What else can I do right now? I'm ready. Yes.
Okay.
So let me give you the great news. Miriam's going to stick in here. We're going to still answer a lot of questions, but let me give you some great news now, because we are opening up some spots in Miriam Adahan's full parenting course. So this was just the tip of the iceberg today. You got so many amazing tools just in this 1 hour. Imagine how many more you can get in the full 5-part course. So I'm happy to announce that Miriam has agreed to give you the entire parenting course comprised of 5 classes to create effective discipline, get your kids to listen, and help you start feeling more confident and empowered with your decisions as a parent. We all know that the more we invest in our children, the brighter their future will be. So by joining this exclusive 5-part course, you will get the tools and techniques to empower your children to become spiritual warriors and continuously make the right choices. And we even learned, you know, just from today that we can start doing that with victories and gratitudes. We can use charts. You'll be able to help your children develop the skills to control whims and desires, especially addictions, and the joys that can be achieved from abstention. Apply Miriam's practical techniques to discipline in a way that will prevent the negative behaviors from recurring, and help your child discover his or her unique capabilities, gain self-esteem, and achieve his or her personal potential. And what is so special about this course is that you will get immediate access to all 5 classes as soon as you sign up. So for your convenience, they will be available as downloadable versions, or you can sit at the computer and watch them at your convenience.
which gives you access anytime and anywhere. This literally means that you'll have all of these tools for effective parenting at your fingertips. So many people shared their schedules are packed, which is why now you don't have to attend on a certain day at a given time. You will have 24/6 access to every class to listen to, take notes, print out the tools, all at a time that is comfortable for you. So Miriam, I know that we had gotten a bunch of questions. Why is it so important to put in this effort and perfect our parenting skills? And is it ever too late? You know, if I've already got teenagers, is it too late to start implementing these?
Well, somebody just wrote me such a beautiful statement. MF, thank you, Mickey. She says, my baby brain says it's too hard, but my adult Moshe Rabbeinu says, yes, I can do it. Okay, so you can tell your teens, yes, I want to buy, let me think about whether I want to buy that or whether I want to do it. They're going to think you're nuts. It's okay. You don't need their approval. And ideally, you should start very early in life, but if you haven't, the major time to get all this in, which is between the ages of 3 and 8. If it's past that time, then it's going to be harder, just like learning a language. If you bring a child to a country when he's 1 or 2 or 3, he'll learn the language very fast. But if you wait, it's going to just take longer. But eventually, they'll come to learn it. At least you are using it. Okay, that's very important. Somebody said, what do I do when my kids don't want to finish all their food? So why should anybody have to finish all their food? I don't understand that one. We're going to have to solutionize here. I'm going to try to help you think of a lot of ways that it's possible to figure out solutions, but ordering kids around, telling them they have to come to the table or they have to finish all their food, I would save the ordering around for when it's really something absolutely essential. And I wouldn't go to war over food. I would make, dinner time is supposed to be fun and happy. That's the time when you should be talking about your victories. Okay, somebody asked me about what about a 5-year-old who hits out of nowhere. He's got ADHD, and I don't understand what makes him hit me. That's a wonderful time to do that brain dance. All you need is to put 4 index cards on the floor. And when my kids were little, I also had tape on the floor. I had one piece of electric tape on one, and then 2, and then 3, and then 4, and then we would just jump, because I've got a few ADHD kids, and they would hit and be silly and whatever. So I just grab their hands and say, step number 1, you bit me. And then jump to step number 2 and look in his eyes and say, you must have been so irritated or agitated. ADHD kids are very easily agitated. They don't even know why they're giving into an impulse. And then jump to number 3 and keep holding his hands and looking in his eyes and say, what could you do instead of biting? Okay?
So
and
great, thank you.
Yeah, jump to
I wanted to make sure people are saying, how can I get in? How can I get in? So we're going to continue to take questions throughout the day. I just want to make sure that you're ready and you're willing, and I'm so, I don't want to make you wait any longer just to get your spot, to make sure you've got that secured. So not only are you going to get the chance to get this 5-part course, but you'll also get a number of huge bonuses that we're throwing in. Bonus number 1, compassionate communication, a 4-part series including insights and tools into understanding what is holding us back and teaching us how to break free using the emotional freedom technique. You may have heard of it called EFT. Plus, you'll get a 4-part series on healing childhood trauma. So we had a question at the very beginning, what if we were never taught any of these as children growing up? Or if there was something that happened as a child, you may not feel like you're ready to be able to implement these with your children. This is an amazing tool that will help heal emotional scars from the past and rejuvenate your soul. Plus, how to love yourself as you are. This is going to be a 2-part workshop in unconditionally loving who you are and how best to take care of yourself so you aren't dependent on other people's love. Plus, what works with kids. This is Miriam's groundbreaking work on child raising in an ebook format that'll be available to you immediately with all of the tools and techniques, not only the ones we discussed today, not only the ones that we go over in the 5-part series, but so many great stories, tools, techniques, and everything that you could ask for from A to Z. Plus, mega training on how to share your pain with others. Again, all of these things really trying to work from start to finish so that you have an entire package of ways to be able to help parent and feel confident in your parenting. So master important techniques to empower yourself to sensitively address others who are causing you pain. And finally, Miriam Adahan's treasure box. So this will include the visual aids and charts that will serve as consistent reminders to your children, giving you the tools to implement these methods into your home. All of these will be available to print, so there'll be print versions. You can go ahead and find those in your treasure box when you sign up, and you can start using these amazing tools today. And an extra seat in the course for a family member or friend. So not only will you be able to embark on this journey towards perfecting your own parenting, but you'll be able to bring a friend along, a sister, a husband, a cousin, an aunt, anyone that you feel like would gain from this amazing, amazing course. So as you can see, this entire course, plus all of the additional bonuses that we're offering, is well over $1,300. But today, you will be able to get the 5-part series with Parenting with Miriam for just $197, or you can become a platinum member today, and you'll get the 5-part course, plus the Compassionate Communication Workshop, plus the Healing Childhood Trauma, How to Love Yourself as You Are, What Works with Kids, the ebook, the Mega Training on How to Share Your Pain with Others, the Miriam Adahan Treasure Box, and the extra seat in the course for a family member or friend. So that's practically like 2 for the price of 1 right there, and that is just $297. So I see everybody is trying to get on and they want to get the link in here. Don't worry, I'm going to share that with you in just 1 minute. I'll go ahead and actually put it into your chat box. But before I do, I also wanted to let you know, by joining today, not only will you get this amazing package, but you'll also 30 days free. And actually, by signing up, you'll start your very first live class Monday. So we're going to give you a little bit of time to start with all of the parenting techniques that you'll be getting. And once you get into that club, you'll have personal email access to Miriam, plus the weekly live and interactive webinars, and packages shipped directly to your house full of Miriam's tools of the month, a gold CD, you'll get victory journals for yourself. So please make sure that after you join, you are redirected to the bonus page. Make sure you take advantage of that. It's first 30 days free, which is unbelievable. So let me go ahead and get you that link. I don't want you to have to wait any longer. It's www.jewishworkshops.com/parenting with Miriam. And I'm putting that right into your chat box. Sometimes it's easier to actually take that and copy and paste it right into your browser. You can do that while you're still listening. You won't miss any new slides. I'll continue to explain everything that's happening, and we're going to start taking some questions very shortly as well. So I do want to go ahead and remind everyone, there are 100 spots open right now. So each time you go ahead and sign up, please just come back to the chat box and write the words "I'm in" with your first name so that I can see how many spots we've got left. And if you are having any trouble with registering on your own, we are happy to help. So please come back and put your first name and your telephone number. I definitely want to make sure that someone from our customer service team can get in touch with you as soon as possible, and you'll be able to grab either the basic or the platinum membership, whichever you are interested in. So let me just take, I'm sorry, AG is asking, will we have access to the recordings today? You'll get access tomorrow. Within 24 hours of signing up, you'll have access to all of the 5-part series, plus all of your bonuses when you become the Platinum member. So you'll get an email confirmation, plus you'll get the, actually it's called a membership area. You'll get all the details to sign in. It's your own personal membership area where you'll be able to go at any time and find all of your classes, your treasure box, everything that you're looking for right there. And I know that some of the people were asking too if these slides from today are available. Those will also be in your membership area as soon as you sign up and you get your information. You'll be able to access today's recording plus the actual PowerPoint presentation if you wanted to go ahead and print that out. Okay, we're going to get to some questions coming in. I do actually already want to welcome Natasha. That's wonderful. Thank you. You're in. Let me see who else. People are coming back already and saying we're in, we're in. Welcome to Sandra. Welcome, Miriam. Welcome, Sarah. This is wonderful. Okay. Miriam, let me get to one of the questions that had come in as well.
Okay.
How do I remain calm and keep my word while disciplining? I feel like I often give in because I don't have the patience to argue.
Oh, that's a huge, that's a huge question. You don't want to be arguing with your kids, and you don't want to be giving in. You want to be focusing on, maybe I have to know what the issue is. It's too vague. I have to have something very specific. By the way, somebody asked, first thing is for you to stay calm as possible, and knowing that we're not going to get 100% success. Whatever you can do, do. I have huge questions here. People, you know, from divorced families, people that have never been loved, all we can do is try to be as loving as possible at any moment, given what we've all been through, and we've all been through a lot. I can promise you, though, the essence of a human being, we have a godly essence. That essence is love. So we can all access that godly essence at any time. It is who we really are. Whether you've been loved or not or whatever, of course it's more difficult to do this if nobody ever loved you. And of course your kids are going to trigger you if you've been through a lot of rejection and abandonment and pain. But know that your essence can be revealed by doing this work. So try most of all not to shame, not to hurt. And shaming is the worst pain you can do. We want to build our children up. We want to build ourselves up. We live in a very shaming society. So if your kids are shaming you, the most important thing is do not shame yourself. Try not to shame them. They're going to shame us. Maybe your spouse is going to shame you. People are, you know, the more disturbed a person is, the more critical and self-loathing he is, the more hatred he's spewing out. Try to get away from that atmosphere, and then we're going to be learning a lot of tools for how to stay loving towards ourselves in the midst of all this. You're going to focus on whatever the victory is at the moment. The victory might be silence. The victory might be to assert your limits with love. The victory might be to leave. The victory might be to work on patience or tolerance. At any moment, 24/7, there's a victory that we can focus on, and I'll be teaching you how to do that. So whether other people are on board or not, it doesn't even matter. We have to be up there with our Moshe Rabbeinu brain and starting. At the age of, I had a woman who said to me, when she goes away, if the baby's kvetchy, she says to her husband, she's a teacher, she has to sometimes go to meetings, she says, if the baby's kvetchy, just read off his list of victories. So she started writing his victories at 8 months, like that he went to the doctor and he got an inoculation, or that what silly things, okay, that would be silly for us, that he waited patiently while she warmed up the bottle, or that whatever it was, that she took a bath. And when the father reads off the baby's victories, it's like you're talking to the neshama, you're talking to the essence of that child. So you can start writing down at any age, and you can start reminding your kids at any age. Now, some kids do have emotional disturbances. They might be borderline or narcissistic or sociopathic or whatever. That's going to be maybe 1/3. But if your child is basically normal, what you want to do is be, as much as possible, showing the child that you are having your victories that are keeping you, no matter how much turmoil you're on the inside, that you are working on thinking about what your victories are at any given moment. Okay, and I'm going to give you 39 of them, and that will give you what to work on.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
That's wonderful. Thank you. I see some more questions coming in. So, Louis, let me remind you, again, what's special about this course is that you're going to get the immediate access to all 5 classes as soon as you sign up. So for your convenience, you'll receive details on how to log into your own personal membership area, which means that you can listen to or download all of the classes at your convenience. There's no set time or set date. You will have 24/6 access to all of the classes, plus when you become the Platinum member, you'll also get all of those additional bonuses. And Jenny, you are asking exactly what that includes, so let me go back here and show everyone again. I know, I'm sorry, I probably went through that fairly quickly. All the excitement took over. So the bonus number 1 is compassionate communication. It's a 4-part series giving you insights and tools into understanding what is holding us back and teaching us how to break free using the emotional freedom technique. And Miriam, can you actually just give us like a minute or two of what EFT is and how that's going to help us communicate better?
EFT is a self-acceptance method that teaches you to accept whatever is going on inside of you, even though I am in turmoil, even though I'm raging and ranting on the inside, that I can deeply and completely accept myself as I am at this moment. We're just freeing us up from the lower brain to go up to the upper brain. So it's a wonderful technique for calming us down, because we're not going to get all we want. Here's a lady, Elisheva, saying, how can I start this with my 20-month-old and teach him not to bite or throw? That's way too early, honey. But you can say, even though I have a child who's biting and throwing, I deeply and completely love and accept that this is where this child is at, and my job is to protect him from himself and from his own impulses, and to stay as calm as possible so that I can calm him down. Okay? So EFT is a calming, self-accepting method that teaches us how to open up our minds to new possibilities and growth, and seeing our choices so that we're not so limited. You know, during childhood we get very limited by our belief system. EFT breaks through very gently. It's a beautiful technique to break through all these limiting beliefs, like I'm a failure and nobody could ever love me, and I'm inferior and I don't have it all together, and I'm such a loser and I don't know how to do anything. And it breaks through so that we can be loving and compassionate at this moment. And you know, once we do that, we can have 2 different things going on in our brains at the same time. The lower brain can be in horrible turmoil, and the upper brain saying, if this is what Hashem is giving me at this moment, this is the opportunity He's giving me right now, then I can focus on some victory or some gratitude, even if nothing is going the way I want it to. Okay? Let me move up. Let me focus on my victory of this moment. So I'll give you a little story. I have two ADHD kids, very, very ADHD. And I used to talk about their victories all the time. At one point, there's, oh, Ema, oh, okay, victories, victories, okay. They didn't want to hear it. But every night, I said, okay, at night, this is what we're going to do. This is our night ritual. And I tell them about mine. And if you can, get away from the I have eyes and ears and a nose, okay. Try to think of the victory of that day, because every day is going to be different. You're going to have different victories. Try to think of something new and exciting, because the brain loves newness and excitement. And have them think of something new. So at one point, there was a graduation ceremony, and my 15-year-old went to this place. And there was there was drugs, there was alcohol, whatever. He came back and he said, "Oh my goodness, what was going on there?" And I said, "Did you try any of that?" And he said, "Mom, that wouldn't be a victory. The victory was not to do it." And I said, "So all that work I put in all those years talking about victories, that helped you?" And he said, "Mom, that's the only thing that helped me to maintain my self-control." So I promise you, they might not look like they're getting it, but the more you talk about it and the more you're mentioning yours, and I don't care if you're saying, I'm having a victory, I'm drinking water instead of Coke, or I'm having a victory, I'm taking my vitamins. And here I am with my vitamin D spray. You have to get your 5,000 units of D every day. So say, here's my victory of the moment, I'm taking my vitamin D. There's always some victory. So don't look for the big things, okay? Look for the little things like taking your vitamins and drinking your water, and talk about them with kids. It's going to be so impressive, okay? And the most important thing is that it's going to give you a sense of self-respect that's not connected to how they're acting or treating you, okay? And that's very important, because kids can be very difficult and very vicious sometimes, and very disrespectful and rude and whatever. And they are challenging us. So the stronger your sense of self-worth is from having done your own victories, the less you're going to be toppled, thrown off the roller coaster there when they start with that behavior. So it's going to work, I promise you.
Absolutely. That was actually another huge response that we received. So many mothers and fathers, really parents, who are just overwhelmed and frustrated, and they get impatient. Stress levels are through the roof. And it's nice to see that this class will really speak to a parent as a person, not just as the parent to this, the children, and how we can help them, which we'll be able to do once we really help ourselves. It's, I think, an amazing addition. So thank you so much.
Even if you say, let's say a kid says, "Mom, can you take me to the mall? Can you drive me?" And then you just sat down. So say, "Oh, well, I don't know what is my victory to take you or not take you?" Let them see that you're going through this process, and they're watching. Mm-hmm. So throw it out like naturally. There's what's she going to answer? Should she get what's my victory? Yes to take you, not to take you. What if I desperately need a 10-minute rest period now? That my victory might be to say no. My victory might be to say yes. Mm-hmm. So let them know, because they're always going to be asking us for something. You might say, "Can you make me a meal?" Say, "I think my victory is to teach you how to make it for yourself." So kids are never going to stop making demands, and each one is going to be for you to decide what your victory is, but then you can just throw it out naturally. Don't make it seem too formal. And if your kid has trouble in one area, let that area go a little bit. Don't push, whether it's food or somebody's getting to counseling or whatever. Make it fun. This should be fun. There should be a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of humor about this. Make it humorous, okay? So we want to have fun, we want to laugh a lot about this, and we want to make this a joyous process, at least most of the time.
Thank you so much. So in addition to that full 4-part series, you'll also get another series on healing your childhood trauma. These are going to give you the practical tools to heal emotional scars from the past and rejuvenate your soul. plus how to love yourself as you are. And really, again, this all goes hand in hand, giving you the ability and the sensibility to unconditionally love who you are and how best to take care of yourself so you're not dependent on other people's love, will also then translate into how you teach your children to be the same way. Plus, What Works with Kids ebook. So Miriam's groundbreaking work on child raising, and as I mentioned before, this is going to include all of the tools and techniques that we spoke about today, plus so many additional tools and stories and printouts, PDFs, charts, graphs, everything that you can imagine. In addition, you'll get the mega training on how to share your pain with others, master important techniques to empower yourself to sensitively address others who are causing you pain so that you don't hold it in and it doesn't just build up. Plus the treasure box. So this is going to include the gratitude journal and a victory journal, visual aids and tools, all of these things you'll be able to print and give to your children, work with your children on a daily basis. It's so great, actually. You know, Miriam gets hundreds and hundreds.
Let me just say one thing. There's one thing we forgot. I just want to make sure that we get this, that people, we form a family. These workshops have been going on for almost 2 years, and we have a family where people who have never, don't have any other family, they support each other and they write to each other and encourage each other. So make sure people realize that, okay? It's just the most wonderful part, okay?
I was just going to say, as part of your ongoing program, which everybody has the opportunity to join as well today, you receive hundreds of emails, and I just have to read these. I only picked a few because I thought they were so great. This email says, "Hi Miriam, my daughter Elia Chaya turned 8 on Sunday, and we had a bunch of her classmates over for her birthday party. As the activity, I decided to let the girls make a victory and gratitude journal. I explained to them what a victory and a gratitude is, gave examples, and then asked them to give their own examples. They got to decorate the covers of the notebooks with stickers and shiny papers, and then my husband also took pictures of each girl, printed them out, and stuck it onto the front of their book. So it felt like a really meaningful activity, and even one that the girls could really get something out of. So the best part of this is that night I saw my daughter's journal on the edge of her bed, and while she was fast asleep, I took a peek inside, and she had already written a victory and gratitude. I was so impressed. Thank you for this precious tool and the gift I was able to not only give my own daughter, but to all of her friends as well." Just such a special, something so small that you don't necessarily even think about, but it is so sweet. We got this other email, "Dear Miriam," and this is actually from the 9-year-old little girl. "Dear Miriam, I was at the store with Mommy and I wanted to sneak a pack of gum, but I knew that was only what my baby brain was telling me, so I went and put it back. Love, Yitta." It's just, so many different victories, and it's unbelievable. This is a great victory from one of the parents in your group. She wrote, "Thank you so much for the amazing classes. I'm learning so much. One of my most recent victories was when my daughter asked me to have a barbecue for her friends and invite everybody. She asked me to make a special dessert, which I was happy to do, but I didn't know that one of her friends could not eat chocolate, which I had put into the dessert. My daughter was so upset with me, but instead of engaging in an argument, I simply asked her to replay the scene, which she did, and she said she was sorry." What a bracha that was. Thank you so much.
When I get up in the morning and I get these emails, this is wonderful. Wonderful.
And I love that you share them as well with us. I think from that you can really see, these were from all different age groups. Someone was 9, someone was 8. This last one, she was already a teenager. Just asking your child, let's replay that. Let's try that again. you know, that is something that anyone can use at any age, and it could really just get your child to understand that that wasn't, you know, that wasn't maybe the right way to say something. That wasn't what he meant to say, and it was just coming out of frustration or out of anger. And just like you said before, when we want to do those things, we can also replay things. You know, you may yell, you know, you may scream, you gave into your baby brain, but then you can even in front of your child and with your child say, hold on a minute, let me replay that because I don't think that came out the right way.
Great.
And
Great.
you know, how many people write in is just astounding. So sorry, let me get back. Let me get back here. I got off track with the victories just because it's such an amazing tool. So
I had, by the way,
yes,
a teacher who takes it to, she takes it to class. She took hula hoops to class, and she jumps from one hoop to the next in her second grade classroom to get the kids to get the difference between the baby brain and the grown-up brain. So you know, this is I get lots of ideas from myself, from people. Somebody asked about a touchy-feely child that's overly touchy-feely. We're going to have to, you know, I want to deal with everything, but I can't, and that's my victory, is not to try to do too much in one time, but we'll try to address these issues, and people can also write to me.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you so much. So again, Jenny, I'm finishing up the bonuses here. The last one is that extra seat in a course for a family member or friend. And Terry, you were asking, as a platinum member, does your guest get all of these bonuses as well? Yes, they do. You'll each have your own personal membership areas where you'll be able to log in and access your full course plus all of your bonuses at any time, whenever it's convenient. So like I mentioned, it really is, you know, that one-time payment of $297. But as a platinum member, when you bring another guest, it's almost as if you're really, I mean, you really are getting two for the price of one there. So please just go to this link. I'm going to put it in one more time. And I actually, in the process of speaking, I got in, I'm sorry so much, Laura, the link wasn't working for you. So I'm putting it in once again. And if you are having any trouble registering, I do see a lot of names and numbers coming in. Please don't hesitate. Just put your name and your telephone number right here into the question box. We are going to do our best to give you a call as quickly as possible. I don't want you to miss out on the opportunity. We certainly would love to be able to get you all of these tools as soon as possible. Plus, I'd love to welcome Gila. Thank you for coming back and telling us you're in. We're so happy to have you. And welcome Atara, and welcome Allison, welcome Shmuel, and welcome Suzette. Thank you so much. We are thrilled to have all of you. If you've signed up and you haven't come back, please just let me know that you're in. I'd love to see you know, how many of these spots have already been taken. And if you're having any trouble with the link, oftentimes when too much traffic is going to our website, we've had this in the past, and I apologize. We're trying to do everything we can to remedy that situation, but oftentimes the website just gets too much traffic all at once, everyone trying to claim their spots. So if you're having trouble, we are happy to take your credit card or PayPal information, whichever is most convenient for you, right over the phone. We will register you and get your information out to you as soon as possible. So thank you, Esther, for coming back. Welcome. I'm glad that you're in as well. Miriam, how much is the monthly membership fee? For this particular course, there's no monthly fee at all. It's just a one-time payment. If you do choose to also take advantage of that free 30 days in Miriam's Club, you'll have your first 30 days free, as I mentioned, and then it'll be just the lowest rate of $47 a month. But no time obligations, no contracts. You can cancel at any time, but certainly we'd love to have you come and join and try it. You'll see that it is absolutely invaluable. You'll get the monthly packages shipped directly to your house, which again includes a victory journal for yourself, or you can obviously give it to, you know, one of your children. It includes a gold CD, which is from other members of the club, like Miriam said, we all really become a family. So we love to inspire each other, share victories with each other. And so you'll hear from different people in the club who have amazing victories, who have been through so much, and they'll share all of that with you. And then, of course, the tool of the month, and you can learn so many different things, but this gives you the opportunity to have that physical package right in front of you. So if you don't have a chance to get online every week, or you don't have a chance to listen to that recording every week, you'll absolutely be able to still get all of that great information right at your fingertips, because it comes directly to your door. So Miriam, we've got some more questions coming in. I'd love to try to get some of those answered as well. I want my kids to feel security in themselves and to be happy with what they have, not always looking to other people and what other people have. How can I do that?
Oh dear. Not to be jealous.
In short.
I have found that the victory gratitude method, I call them veggies for short, victories and gratitudes. The veggie method cures everything that can be cured. And whatever can't be cured, can't be cured. And that's just what we have to live with. And you know, kids are going to have problems and emotional problems and difficulties and disturbances. And there's not much we can do sometimes. This just, momish will cure whatever can be cured. By the way, somebody asked me about marriage, and that's the hardest thing. If you can have a victory marriage, that would be terrific. In other words, that you're talking about your victories and gratitudes with your spouse. That's the greatest thing in the world. But very often people are at different levels spiritually, and if a person isn't spiritually attuned, he's not going to want to do this. And then your victory is to let go and to not try to control another human being's rate of progress, because we can't. The way people, the level at which, the rate at which people mature is different for every single person. So just be a model. If you are a model of calm, compassionate kindness, you'll do whatever you can do. You can just be the sun, and people can either want to take advantage of it or not. You can't push it on anybody.
Great, thank you so much. And welcome to our newest members. Ruth, welcome. I'm sorry, everything is coming in so quickly. Jamie, welcome. And Bleemy, welcome. We're happy to have everyone. Thank you so much. Please go ahead and just come back and let me know that you're in. I love to welcome all of our new members and really new members of our family. And if you're having any problems, please just go ahead and put your name and telephone number right here into the question box. Yes, Sarah, I'm sorry, you're asking if you're already part of Miriam's ongoing club, will you get everything besides the parenting classes? As part of the ongoing program, you will get everything ongoing that is coming up from Miriam. If you'd like to get her parenting program as a member already, you'll get 50% off. So if you just go ahead and leave your telephone number, we'd be happy to give you a call and help you out. Okay, here are some other questions coming in. Sibling rivalry. So this is actually a kind of long one here, a few-part series. How to help my kids stay calm yet still be in touch with their emotions. I find competition between siblings is very hard, and their disrespectful talk and whining gets to be extremely excessive. How can I get good behavior without constantly giving them prizes or sticker charts? And most importantly, here we go, how to potty train a 3-year-old who would rather have accidents than use the potty. So I guess it's kind of like a 4-part question here.
Okay. I think you're going to be sending everybody my book, What Works with Kids. I have a lot of answers in there. and they'll get all the answers about potty training and things like that. Just everything you do, Rashi
Oh,
says, whatever
perfect.
you
So
do with
as soon as
love.
you become the platinum member in What Works with Kids, that it goes through all of that in the ebook?
Yeah. Yeah, well, in the new
Okay,
ebook,
perfect.
I'll send it to you tomorrow. Okay, I'll send you the new one
Great.
tomorrow because I have a lot of new information in there, and
Perfect.
it's trying to, once you start talking about victories with kids, they begin to get a sense of self-worth that is so strong from within themselves that they're not so affected by what others have or what by others are. They just try to do their best. So that takes care of the problem of jealousy. And by the way, if you see that your kids are very jealous and competitive and they're always comparing and looking what others have, make sure that you look inside yourself and ask yourself if you have that problem. Okay. Somebody else asked me about what about if I'm a grandmother? Well, I do this with my grandkids all the time. Okay, you can be a victory bubby and call your grandkids and ask them what their victories are because parents are often too busy to do it. So it doesn't matter at any age. If your kids don't want to hear about it, you can always throw out a victory that they might appreciate. Okay, at any age, that you're doing something difficult. We're all doing getting up in the morning. Okay. Maybe you didn't want to feel like going to shul, or didn't feel like going to sleep, or didn't want to turn off a computer. Say, look, I'm having a victory right now. I am turning off my phone so that I can listen to you with total attention. What kind of huge victory is that right there? I'm turning off my computer so I can listen to you. I'm turning on my phone. I'm listening. I want to take you out. I want to do something with you. That's my victory of the moment. It's endless. And that will give kids a sense of self-worth little by little.
Thank you so much. Actually, kind of a piggyback here. Chai is asking, victory is linked to gevura, but how is gratitude linked to chesed? I'm trying to understand what the difference is and what they write as a victory versus what they would write chesed and how they tie together.
Doing chesed is one of our victories. It's not just that gratitude is a thing in itself. It's just being grateful for whatever Hashem gives us. I don't care if it's toilet paper or a bathroom when you're out and you really need a bathroom, or a nice person, a nice nurse who's taking your blood, whatever. That you want to train your eyes to focus on what is good in the world. And the same thing with your children. It's so easy to focus on the negative. We want to train ourselves to focus on the good and to water what's good. So if you catch your kids doing something positive, that's what you want to water.
Mm-hmm. And how can I control my anger when speaking to my children? I often end up threatening or yelling because I find it so hard to control my patience.
Well, is this a male or a female? Okay, you're going to say, I am the queen of solutions.
Mm-hmm.
When you announce to your children, look, I'm going to try really hard not to get angry anymore because I am the queen of solutions. And the royal people don't go around ranting and raving. There's something very dignified and refined about people in a position of royalty. And that's what every parent has to be. We have to be dignified and refined, and we have to, we can't be letting the baby brain show, even if the baby brain is very, very strong, and for many of us it is. Okay, but you will little by little learn all these tactics, and it's just a matter of training your muscles.
Okay, great. Thank you. Welcome, Mendy. It's so great to have you. And I'd like to welcome some of our other newest members who just came in. Welcome, Sarah. Welcome, Andrew. Welcome, Ben. And welcome to Kathy. Excellent. I'm so happy to have all of you. Oh, I'm sorry, I missed Chaya here. Welcome, welcome. Time is definitely running out. I know people are asking how much longer. We're going to continue to answer as many questions as possible, and spots are clearly filling up extremely fast. So I do want to make sure that every last bit of questions are answered about the actual program itself so that you can make sure to grab your spot now. If you do have any problems registering, you can absolutely put your number in if you have additional questions, and I'm going to go ahead and put that link right into your chat box again, so you can really just copy and paste it right out of there. That might be the easiest solution for you. But I do see, let's see, Barry was asking if we could go over some of the pharmacy of solutions. So let me try to get back here. These are going to be so important, and like I said, as soon as you register, you will also not only get that 5-part series, but this will be kind of an additional little bonus thrown in there. You'll be able to get this PowerPoint plus the recording if you'd like to re-listen to it, but also in your treasure box, you'll find this pharmacy of solutions. So the first one was talking about victory notebooks, and you'll get that victory cover that was pictured earlier, plus you can print out the actual notebook itself and give that to your children. So again, value their victories by writing them down. This teaches children to be effort-oriented rather than focused on external rewards. And this was really just answering the last question too. You know, if you're sick of giving prizes and you don't want everything to be you know, something that you're always giving. You're not.
Right. We really do want to get
everything
them
can't be that.
Right. We want to get them to the point where the victory is itself the reward. The excitement of having a victory should be its own reward.
Perfect. You said it much better than I could get out.
That's okay. I understand what you were trying to do, but the staff here is so wonderful and so devoted. Everybody's going to, these are very devoted people here. You know, when you can't help a child, the child's in a lot of pain, just empathize. What can we do? Life is so often so painful, so disappointing, and so many betrayals and accidents and bullying and everything. The most important thing is to realize that just as Hashem gives us painful moments so that we can come close to Hashem, Hashem gives us and our children painful moments so that we can come close to each other. And if nothing else, that's what we can do. We can give each other support and empathy and understanding. That's what we can do. And that should be the first step.
Right.
I understand what your baby brain is telling you, how it's telling you to feel, and how it's telling you to behave. I understand, because everybody's baby brain is telling them to kick, spit, hit, kill. You know, we get the news. Okay, we hear enough on the news about everybody's baby brain, and you know, shoot. Shoot this one. Okay, so even a lot of us adults also have trouble going upstairs.
Yeah, and you had said earlier, you know, it's obviously so much harder for us as parents when we are hungry or stressed or exhausted or frustrated. It's so much harder for us to get from our own baby brain up to our adult brain. Do you have any like quick tips on, you know, is it necessary for us to take a step back for, you know, a minute or two? How do we you know, get from that baby brain to the adult brain so that we don't lose it, so that we don't, you know, hit or scream or yell or, you know, show that frustration?
So first of all, remember that if you get angry at your children, anger is always shaming. And too much shame will cut off the flow of energy to the upper brain. You can't think, the child can't think. Shaming and anger just teaches the child to be angry. That's all you're teaching. You're saying, oh, if people hurt me, I can hurt them back. That's what you're teaching them. You don't want them to learn that. You want them to learn, even if I'm hurt, I still have to focus on my mitos, on my character strengths. So anger will always make worse whatever the thing is that you're angry about. They'll always do more of that. And then they'll also, whatever you're doing to them, they'll do to their siblings or to themselves or somebody else. Okay, so if you're angry, they're going to take it out on themselves, or they're going to take it out on you or themselves. And you're not teaching them. You haven't educated. Now, in
Mhm.
Jewish philosophy, you're not even allowed to educate when you're angry. An angry person cannot teach. That's basic Pirkei Avos. So when you're angry, you are absolved from the mitzvah of educating. You can't educate when you're angry. All you're going to do is educate kids to be angry, and they're going to give you back 100 times, 100-fold, whatever you give them. So think, is this what you want
Right.
to be doing? Do you want to be teaching them to be angry? Do you want to teach them to hurt others when they feel hurt? Okay, but I'll be
And
giving
that's
you a lot of
also, you
ideas.
were
Uh,
explaining, like that's how EFT can help us as well in the
that's
compassionate
right.
communication.
That's right.
Okay, great. I hope that answered your question. Right after the empathy was the ruler, and this I just found to be one of the best techniques.
Yeah.
And that, it came along with the story, which you'll also, some got as a bonus for signing up already. It'll be in your, like I said, in your treasure box. But just such a wonderful tool to use at any time when somebody is happy, when somebody, when your child is sad, how much pain are you in right now? When you didn't get the toy, was that a 10 or was that a 3? And it's such a wonderful tool to teach, and it's sometimes really great, to teach to adults too. I think in Rebbitzin Heller's patience class that we just had a month ago, she was saying, when you lose your patience as an adult, is this a 10? Are we at war? Is the world at war right now? Or is this a 2? You are stuck in traffic. So
Exactly.
it's
And is it a 10
it's
if
a
they
great
finish
technique.
their food? Right.
Exactly. So, we can use this as well as, sharing it with our children. The next one was the charts and contracts, and I think that we definitely had gone over that. Plus, the puppet theater and stories. Miriam, you explained that so well, and I love this wristband idea. And like you said, if you're a father, and we've had some wonderful fathers sign up already today, looking forward to seeing some more sign up. But if you don't want to wear a ponytail holder, there's always different options that you can do. Stick 2 different color pens in your pocket, or something just
Or
as
they have those
creative.
little plastic, right?
Yeah.
Some kind of wristband
um,
in 2 different colors. Okay. A lot of men have those. Okay.
yeah, it's a great technique to use, especially when you're out, and that's sometimes one of the most frustrating or trying times, I should say, when you're at a store, or when you're somewhere and your child wants something and it's just maybe not the right time that day. Every time you go to the grocery, is there going to be a treat involved? And sometimes you'll need the wristbands, and sometimes it'll be a victory for them to go to the grocery with you and not get a treat.
Right.
And that could be a really big deal. So, like I said, as we're winding down here, I wanted to see, Miriam, we have so many parents on the line, a number of them parents of young children, which is wonderful. For all of the parents here that are parents of teenagers, some married children even, or just young adults, how can we really start to take some of these ideas and implement them into our young adults and adult children's lives?
Mainly according to Jewish philosophy, we are educating our kids until the age of bar and bat mitzvah. That's 12 or 13. After that, we've done what we can do. We've planted the seeds, we've watered. Now it's time for them to do it. And after that age, we have to let go of control. We've given them whatever tools we can give them, and what we want to do now is just encourage them to follow their dreams and be as polite and have as good manners as possible, which means sometimes replaying the scene. But the major work has been done. The major programming of the lower brain is done. So now we have to be models of self-respect and respectful of them and their choices. And if they're not making good choices, they're into drugs or whatever. You know, it's such a difficult world, and so many temptations. What we want to do is we want our children to know that we're proud of them. Find something to be proud of. Encourage them. Don't always be on their back. The shaming, the criticism, the anger just alienates. And we don't want to alienate them. We want to have a bond with our kids. And the bonding cannot happen if you're hypercritical and angry. They're just going to stay away. Can't have any influence over them.
Okay, so I want to get to, Gloria had asked if we could just go over a little bit of the childhood trauma workshop. Can you give us just a brief, sneak peek into what that's going to cover?
So anybody who was brought up by parents who were highly critical, that's huge trauma. And you know how you feel about parents who were highly critical, or parents who abandoned, and parents who really didn't know how to parent. So I don't want to blame parents. Everybody does the best they can, and a lot of people do. You know, the ability to love is a skill, and I want to give you those skills. Not everybody has the skill, just like not everybody knows how to play an instrument or has the ability to be artistic. I'm going to give you the ability to love yourself even if you were not well loved, and to reparent yourself and give you the love that maybe you never got. So that's what that's going to be about. Reparenting and healing.
Okay, it looks like our time is going to be running out in just a couple minutes. If you have any questions, please make sure you get those right into the question box for me. I'd love to be able to answer as many as possible before we close up today. I do want to welcome again our newest members. So welcome Hadassah, Jessica, Kim, and James. Welcome. Happy to have all of you. And I'm sorry if I missed anyone. If I did, please just come back and write the words "I'm in" with your name so that we can make sure that we welcome you to this wonderful new community. And let me see. I know that we had gotten to, sorry, there was one more question about everything that the Platinum membership includes. So not only will you get this 5-course series, which, like I explained earlier, again, that's going to be available to you immediately. Within 24 hours of signing up, you will have your own personal access to the entire 5-part series, plus the extra little special bonus of today's webinar and today's PowerPoint. Plus all of your bonuses as a Platinum member. So you'll get the Compassionate Communication Workshop, which we had discussed is really working through EFT, Healing Childhood Trauma, How to Love Yourself as You Are, What Works with Kids, the ebook edition, How to Share Your Pain with Others, the Miriam Adahan Treasure Box, and that extra seat in the course. So please, I'll put that link one more time before we close here. But if you do have any questions or need help registering, as soon as I close up the webinar today, I won't be able to access your information. So if you need a call and you need some help, please just put your name and telephone number right in here. We are going to try to get to you as soon as possible. If you don't hear from us today, just wait till tomorrow. We'll still be on it. We do want to get you in, and we want to get you this amazing course. Like I said before, with over 2,000 people signed up and 1,100 who shared their own personal struggles and challenges, we really saw so many people, looking for relief in the way that they were feeling frustrated and exhausted and impatient and disrespected. And there's no reason to continue to suffer with any of those things. This is going to be, like Miriam explained, a family, a community of parents all really working together to help not only give their children all of the tools and techniques, but feel better as parents and feel better as people. So with all of these amazing bonuses in the Platinum package, those will really also help you dial into and get in tune with who you are and be proud of that, so that that in turn can be sent and given on to your children, because that is so important, like Miriam just said. You know, when your children feel that unconditional love, and your children feel that they can turn to you and they don't have to turn to other people in the community that might not be someone you want them to resemble. They don't have to turn to,
right.
you know,
They
God
won't turn
forbid,
to
drugs, or,
right.
or food,
Okay.
or alcohol, or so many different things. They'll really be able to turn to you. And, you know, I thank Miriam so much for
Thank you,
this
darling.
amazing.
I'm clicking off. Thank you. Good for you, Jillian.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank
The miracle of having the computer work at the last minute. Oh boy, that was such
yes,
I'm writing it down here in my miracle book. Okay, thank you.
So Miriam, I guess I'll just let you just, you know, give a few words to close up.
Okay. I just welcome you all first of all, be proud of yourselves and give yourselves a little pat on the shoulders for having the courage and the wisdom to take the step to just even listen tonight. And that starts you off with your victories. Okay, so I'm going to end it here, and God bless you all.
Thank you so much.
Okay, and I hope to be hearing from you. Okay.
Thank you, Miriam. Please just, when you log out, make sure you don't end the webinar.
I just leave.
Okay, yeah. Perfect. I want to thank all of you for joining us today. It has been an absolute pleasure. If you have any questions for last minute about the course or anything I can answer or do, please just come back to the question box and let me know. I'm going to leave it open for just another minute or two so that you can put your name and telephone number in here and we can get that information so we can give you a call. So you won't hear any noise, but I will still have it open and I'll be able to get your contact details, and we will be calling as soon as possible. So thank you so much. Thanks for taking this journey with us today, and I look forward to all of you that have already joined and everyone who's continuing to join. I look forward to joining all of you in this journey that will continue on. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.